live with my good friend Siri.
My name is Sri, not Siri.
I always call her Siri, but she says Shri. But I've known Tree for like 3 years.
We met last year.
Last year, it seems like 3 years.
You know what it is? We just were running around on the same circles of friends and we just weren't friends. And
Oh,
that
okay.
happens a lot.
Oh, so I've known you for 3 years, but we didn't get each other to get to know each other for until last year. I got it.
Right.
I got it. Well, my great assistant, Lisa, she's put these slides together, and I'll turn them on and off because it's not really about the slides, but I'll go ahead and show it. But today we're talking about successful video marketing strategies, and I've noticed that you are the queen as far as getting video traction because I remember seeing your post a few years ago, and you weren't getting much likes and now you're like ranking 60, 70, 80, 100 and so on likes per these videos, so there's got to be a secret sauce to that. So would you like to introduce yourself? And I have a little thing there that's just pulled from your LinkedIn profile, but I want to know what you think you are and then how you're going to kind of present that energy and benefits to the audience.
My name is Shri, and I help entrepreneurs create engaging videos that make them money, and that's using video and live streaming. I also have an agency where my team and we help you bring back time in your business. How? Because we take care of all of your social media management. We take care of you want a live streaming show like this on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and you want to turn it into a podcast, then we take care of finding the guests, taking care of the technical aspects, the opening, the closing, finding the guests. So all you need to do is just show up. Now, when it comes to video and live streaming, it can be daunting, it can be scary, it
Mhm.
can you overthink it and you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. We have a service as well, and so not for podcasts. I don't even have a podcast, but just for the LinkedIn lives and things. And we wrote a service operating procedure, and we were up like to 30 steps, literally
Mhm.
30 steps, and that's just that part of it. And so we're very meticulous on, all this material that we're doing. How do we provide value? How do we follow up, and all that stuff? And you take it to another level to like the podcast level. So tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll back into some of the video stuff. So if someone has a live streaming event, and then you move it to a podcast, tell the benefits of the podcast. And the second thing is, tell me why other people that have podcasts are not doing well.
So, when you look at it, the whole big picture of social media, you've got to give your customer, when you think of their journey,
Mm-hmm.
opportunities to connect with you. So your profile with all of your posts is one way,
Mm-hmm.
blogs, emails, that's another way.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is the live streaming show, which gives them an opportunity to ask in real time. And thank you, Chelsea. You are beautiful too. And it gives them an opportunity to ask questions. It gives them an opportunity to know if you are the answer to their problems. Then with a podcast, it's just reinforcing what you have said, and maybe they didn't catch it in the other content, but they
There may
have
be
this.
on another channel too.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's all one thing. You're giving opportunity for this individual to get in contact with you because they don't know who you are. So they might come across your podcast because your podcast episode happens to be about a topic that they're facing, such as maybe you're struggling with sales and
Mm-hmm.
you want to understand the sales psychology. Then one of my clients will pull up, which is Jay Lee, and he actually talks about it. His name, on the podcast is called the Sales Ninja Podcast Show, and that's what he does, is talks about sales.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have, like, if you were to do, Troy, a podcast, you would want to think about what is it that's going to get people's attention, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can come up with a name, that's great, but what's most important is also, okay, you have the title, so it's SEO friendly, but
Mhm.
then it's how are you promoting it? Are
Mhm.
you using
You're talking
live?
about from the podcast perspective?
Yeah, I'm just yeah, because it's
From
all
that one
podcast.
pillar? Okay. Yeah,
So
because
they
I
all
know that a
tie
lot of people
together.
have podcasts, and they were telling me, "You just do a podcast because the Troy Show can convert straight into it." And I know
It
it's mechanically easy, but there's a lot of other foundational things I'm sure they're missing because if everyone's podcast was doing great, it would be so easy to do.
So I'll go back to what I said in the beginning.
Mhm.
Everything you do, every piece of content you put out, whether it's on social media, whether it's a video, a static post, a carousel, if you have an email list,
Mhm.
if you have a live streaming show, you can still direct people to that podcast.
Mm.
See,
Oh, I see.
you have to understand that everything connects. It's not just by itself, the podcast, everything connects together. So when you bring it all, you'll see the full picture. It's not just one or the
So
other.
do you funnel in everyone in one direction to the
Yes.
podcast? Oh, I see.
No,
So
you can't. No, the podcast is a funnel to you.
no, you're correct. But what I mean is that if you are marketing or you bring up where to go on your post, on your show, on your DMs, and once in a while, if it's appropriate for the conversation, you're kind of shifting them towards kind of one direction.
Right. If that's what
Uh-huh.
you want. Like
If
if
that's
your
what you want.
goal, you have to think about what is your goal for that month. If it's to grow your podcast,
Mhm.
then you will be directing everybody to that podcast. But if it's to
Mhm.
grow your email list, every channel that you use, meaning if you're posting on Instagram, if you're posting on Facebook, if you're posting on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
you are drawing people to your email list.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You
We
have
grew
to
our
think about what's your goal.
we grew our email list from like nothing to 2,500 in maybe 3 months. So we did pretty good. I guess the trick is to make sure that that email list is clean. Managing that list, making sure that people that unsubscribe are removed, inbound emails are removed. Anyone that hasn't viewed a email in 3 months removed, and having a super tight list. Because if you have that right and you're growing it right, your open rate is much higher. So I've talked to other people and they said, "Oh yeah, I got an email list," and I ask them, "Well, what is your open rate on it?" "Oh yeah, I get 25% open rate." I don't think that's a good open rate. And he said, I said, "Well, what's your open rate?" I said, "Well, mine's between 60 and 80%. And it's probably partially because of the content, who I am, because I have some popularity at least, and also that I clean that list. And so these systems that you're pointing towards, say, if you're building up your podcast, do you do an increment of 1 month? So what are you do a month per month, or do you do like a 90-day type of campaign and direct it in a certain direction?
I don't I would say you have to think about it. Like if
Mhm,
your goal is to grow it to a certain number, you can't put you can't say, okay, I want to do it in 30 days. I want to do it in 60 days. I want
mhm,
to do it in 90 days. Because what you do in the first 30 days could actually get you to that number. So if you're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for your podcast or
mhm.
like likes or okay, let's just make it simple. 1,000 subscribers for your email list
Okay.
and you are campaigning super hard in the first 30 days, then you found a blueprint. But if let's say in the first 30 days it doesn't work and you said, "You know what? I'm going to do this for 90 days."
Mhm,
Then you're giving yourself to say, "Okay, in the first 30 days this is what opened. This is what worked.
mhm,
But
mhm.
then in the next 30
A/B
days
testing,
I'm going
yeah.
to tweak it and then move to the next." I find that when you keep a strategy lucid, it gives you opportunity to know what are you missing,
Mhm,
what is working,
mhm.
and what do you need to change?
Yeah,
Because
and that goes along with your content strategy as well. So a lot of the stuff you're doing is video based, and you get a long format, you chop it up, and we have these smaller bits of video. But you also just have good video tips in general, just for marketing, awareness, how to, and all that. And so you're talking about you can't be all things. You can't go in all directions at one time. You have to kind of pick your poison. I have a number of channels, but what's my need for that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? For example, I have a mastermind. What do I do to increase interest in that mastermind and conversions? And we were talking about right before this, before we went live. It's like you asked me how that was going. I said, yeah, I got 4 or 5,000 views on it. It was pretty good. 130 comments, but I haven't sold hundreds of those mastermind slots. And I said, you know what? I made a mistake. And like that's the A/B testing. Like, well, maybe my audience should be shifted over to these people because those people are more likely to purchase a mastermind because they have business dollars behind them, for example. And so you really have to concentrate on kind of what your goals is for that, whatever it is, 30, 60, 90 days. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Jamal. Hey, Chelsea. Hey, Joy.
Yeah,
Joy,
thanks, Chelsea, for the compliment. Someone
he
said
has a
something about
question.
bots. I was reading this thing. They said open rates are impacted by bots. You know anything about that?
So for me, I'm not very well skilled in emails, but I will say this when it comes to social media strategy, the reason for some people may have not liked what I said, but you have to look at it this way.
Hmm.
You should be looking at your marketing every 2 weeks. So if you're running a campaign and in the 2 weeks it's not working, then
Hmm.
you need to switch it up.
Or you
And
need to know what's the normal traction rate for that campaign. So if
yeah,
someone has a LinkedIn outreach, which is direct outreach, usually they don't even start getting traction till 30, 40 days, So just
but it
because,
could be different on a different platform. Like
right.
because
You're absolutely
I don't specialize on just one platform. I'm
right.
on
Mhm.
multiple platforms.
Right.
I I'm a little bit more like, okay, let's look at it in 14 days, 30 days, and
Hmm.
then let's see what's working, what's not,
Hmm.
and then scrap it and try something different.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so oh he's typing some more stuff. So is it Joy? Joe?
Joy.
Is it Joy? Um, server-side bots open and scan your email before they deliver it. Oh, well, yeah, Joy, but my email list is curated beforehand. So if it comes from LinkedIn, they're actually real emails, versus um, gathering emails from a website. So those might not be true emails and stuff like that. So I don't build my email list in a mass way. I just build it slowly because I'm only interested in the people that are interested in the stuff that we do for business development and LinkedIn and gaining customers. The other people will not even want to talk to me. So the two areas where I get it is my meetings, because my booking link actually says, is it okay if I email you? And my shows like this show here, if we can get emails, we'll put them into one email and saying, hey, I'm just going to triple check to see if it's okay to send you some more emails. So my system is like super polite, because if you don't want to be here, I don't want you here. It's cool. I don't think there's any benefit for having people in an arena where they're just there's no functional reason for it.
So Chelsea had a question which said,
Oh,
so
go right ahead.
is it possible to start a podcast from scratch as a brand new creator and build a community?
Oh, great
It is
question.
great question. And the answer is yes. Don't wait for the right opportunity. I started going live on Instagram and I had 97 followers. So I grew it
Wow,
and
that's
it's not
ballsy. There you go.
it has now 3,000, but what I will say is that there are 3,000 strong. Like they
Yeah.
are ride or dies. They are
Well,
not
at the
going
end of the
anywhere.
day, like how many, if you're doing like a lot of people, if you're a solopreneur or entrepreneur or a small business under 50, how many clients do you really need? So it's not always about volume. Like how many clients could I actually handle? I can't pick up more than three done for you services, white glove services. Anything beyond that is too much, because
Right.
you have to the onboarding, you have to manage it, weekly meetings, set up systems. The coaching stuff is a little more flexible, but you have to figure out, do I want a bunch of pain in the butt clients, or do I want a few good clients that are paying well? And so these good clients are going to be usually less trouble than the complainers that don't want to pay. And I don't know why that's like that, but you know.
We have one more we have actually two more. So we have one that says, Chelsea, do the subscribers of my LinkedIn newsletter get an email when I post? When your newsletter gets posted, then yes, it's notified. We're all notified about that newsletter, but not about our actual posts.
Oh, I think she's saying that, do they get an actual email versus notification?
No, that's what I'm saying. You get a notification, and
Oh, every time
LinkedIn,
it's posted?
yeah, and LinkedIn will notify you
Hmm.
it'll pop up as a message on your phone that a newsletter has been posted by Troy, and an email gets sent. But you don't have the emails. You don't have access to people's emails through LinkedIn. That's the
No,
only
that's
downside.
true. That's one thing that was kind of a bummer. But I will tell you that I have a fairly large network. And so when I tried the newsletter, I was like, yeah, I had another LinkedIn expert said, Troy, you should just do a newsletter. And I said, what should the first newsletter be about? I said, it should be about what the newsletter is going to be about, you know? And so I put that together, and it was on a Friday evening, and which is the worst time to do it because no one wants to see it. And 2 hours later, I had 300 subscribers. And on Monday, I had 1,100. And now I have a little less than 3,000. So if you have a fairly good sized network, yeah, create that newsletter. And other uses for newsletters is, if you're thinking of ideas, is if you're posting content and you're posting a series, you can put the whole series inside the newsletter, so it's evergreen, and that way it recharges your post. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that
That's a
little
great
tip in
tip.
there.
That's whoever's thinking about doing a newsletter. And I'm glad we're on video marketing, because Liana is asking, how can we best exploit video marketing to bring people to your Facebook page?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. We can get to this mindset in a minute. I want to answer these questions.
So to answer your question, Liano, how this is something that I did with my own Facebook community, Get Confident on Camera. I had just been talking about it in my live shows. I had been talking about it in my videos that I posted everywhere. And then I did an official post. Then it got people. So
So you warmed it
why?
up.
I warmed it up, but you have to explain why. Why should I go to your page? What about your page is important? Because we're selfish people. Let's just be honest. We
Mhm.
care about only ourselves, and we want to know why we should go there. Is it going to help me with the problem that I have right now in terms of sales? Is it going to help me with my mindset? Whatever that is that you talk about, you have to give the reason to go there. Troy is giving us reasons why we should tune in every week to his newsletter. So when you put that type of video out there, drawing people to get more tips, let's say you do one video saying introducing yourself, then the second video is going to talk about, maybe you have a specific strategy or blueprint, kind of introduce that and say, well, if you want to get more tips on this, come to my page. So you're drawing people through this series of content videos
Mhm.
that draws them to go there. And if you go live, if you are comfortable going live, now they can ask questions, and it's easier for them to say, you know what, I want to follow your Facebook page, or I want to be part of your community.
So you're talking about warm up and conversations and constantly talking about or mentioning it through all your different activities, whether you have a live event, whether you have a post, a comment on a post. I still noticed that today. You did a post that wasn't about this, and you commented about this. I said, oh, okay, she's always pushing towards, hey, just be aware of this time, and to be always top of mind. And
Yeah.
so if you provide information into smaller bite-sized chunks over time, it becomes more of a natural decision. It's almost
Right.
like their decision, because if they feel comfortable enough with you, and then they may check that item out. Um, do you have a particular time frame? So you did a couple of mentions when you're posting for a while, and then you did an official post, and you did some other things, and maybe push an email to list or whatever the things that you did, right? But you didn't do that at first. You did these subliminal touch points. I talk about it, by the way, all the time. What was the time frame for that
I
before you
gave
did
It's a runway, right? We think about runway. The longer the runway, the easier it is to take people. The shorter the runway, it's harder to convert. So
Good
when I
point.
look
Yeah.
when I look at it, I actually started my Facebook group in November of 2022, but
Mhm.
in October I started talking about it. And then especially in November, I said, I'm thinking about creating a Facebook community.
Mhm.
And so I took people on the ride, asking them what should I name it. And then when I got the name, then I started everybody who had voted, who had participated, actually got the link to join the community. So
Mhm.
when I put it out to the public, let's say 30 days later,
Mhm.
I already had like 50, 60 people in there.
Right, right. So you made them part of the process. So
Yes.
they're invested in this process. That's a really good point. That when people feel like they're invested in a process, they love you because it feels like it's theirs, which
Yeah.
in a sense it is, because those first few people are the rock stars of your audience in that particular segment. Marcus mentioned something. He had a LinkedIn with 150 people join the. He had a LinkedIn event. 150 people joined, but zero showed up.
So
Well,
my question is what was the event? How long did you
subject
promote it
matter.
for? Did you put out content to draw people in? Putting out content means emails, podcasts, interviews, LinkedIn lives.
Hmm.
Because personally, I put out a LinkedIn live show every week. And sometimes I may put it maybe 30 minutes before I go live. Don't do this, but because I've been going live for so long, I will have people show up maybe 4 to maybe 34. But
Yeah,
I
we
never
talk
really
about
look at
LinkedIn.
numbers at the time. Here, I'm just
Hmm.
going to share this.
Hmm.
Don't get caught up at the numbers of people who show up for you. Get prepared for the opportunity that comes in your life where they will ask you, hey, can you speak now for us? Our speaker happened to get sick. Can you speak for me right now? Or the opportunity to lead a training, because every live show, every video is a training to the next opportunity that's coming for you.
Yeah, that's true. And also, he had a LinkedIn event. LinkedIn Live is a little different because when it happens, it shows up on your LinkedIn profile. It shows and it notifies people right then and there. Another thing, Marcus, is it depends on who you're marketing to. So if there's certain groups of people that are just like the idea of going to an event, and there's other people that are really interested. And so I always figure out, where are the people that are the buyers, like where the buyer markets, and are these people going to be interested in just sucking up my information and never doing a service like this, or never putting time really into it. And if the answer is yes, then you probably being marketed to the wrong people, because you got a lot of people that will ghost you. Real estate
Ooh.
investors, yeah. So another thing too, Marcus, is on your LinkedIn event, you got 150 sign up. Did you let them know before the event? Did you send messages prior to them to verify they're going in? Another thing is, I've seen for LinkedIn events, and I don't do it for the lives, but they actually send the calendar invite, because a lot of people live off, like 50% of people live off their calendar. Now, I want to take a step back and talk about what you said before. and about presenting a very clear message and what it is, right? And then how to tell that story. And I'm an analytical person, so I have a block sometimes. I have too much information. And so I found out, and I had and I forget the person's name. I talked to her on a LinkedIn DM today, and she broke it down in a very good way. I am good at what I do, but everyone has a thing that they're not so great at, right? And I realized that what is attractive to a lot of people is repelling to me. And so I had to get out of my own head, because if you say it's this and these are the benefits, I say great, but it's not enough detail. So to me, it sounds like clickbait. But I found out that 75% of the people, that's how they that's how they get the information. High level, and then a couple of major points to see how it solves their problem. That's it, right? And I always thought opposite. And so a lot of times, and I suggest this to everyone, you have to get out of your own head. And how does an audience understand and consume information in general? And so that's one thing I've learned in order to increase the volume and the conversations and the conversions of some of my posts there.
Yes, you have to understand your persona of your audience because it's going to be different than yours. But at the same token, there are similarities and you can speak to those.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, Marcus, was promoting for real estate investors, it's also looking at what is the best time for them. And were they taken on a ride to understand that this event was for them? If you don't take them on a ride, they won't show up. Like my 5-day challenge, nobody's going to show up if I didn't do some leg work, which was months, actually not months, it was like weeks before the actual date. I actually even pushed the date because I didn't feel like I had enough time. And so I pushed it 1 week, and it actually is better because I'm surprised to see that I was able to get more signups even after the challenge had started. More people are showing up each day because I'm changing the way that even in my marketing for the
Mm-hmm.
challenge, I've kind of switched it up just a little bit and got more people because I realized people want to know about Chat GPT. They want to know how to use prompts to create content. I actually showed that. So even though that session finished, you could still be part of the email list that gets a copy of the replays because every
Mm-hmm.
day was something. And then tomorrow, I'm actually going to be showing how to edit on your phone.
Oh, so the chat GPT stuff, you're saying that wasn't an original course, but you discovered that that was an opportunity.
No, I
Because
never put it in my marketing.
Oh, okay, but was part of your original course. Well, let's pretend it wasn't part of your original course, and you discovered that, oh, this is a need, and so what you're saying is you have to be flexible enough to either flip the marketing or add that component within your training and not be
Yeah,
so rigid. Um,
absolutely. Like, if
because
first
it's a
off,
job
I knew
opportunity.
about Chat GPT, but the difference is I wasn't feeling confident to show it, but now I know how to use it
Yeah.
enough to say, you know what? I know somebody who can create a prompt, which they did for me.
Hmm.
Then I am I research enough that I
Hmm.
can find the websites to direct you and say, look, here are some websites that I use to help me. Maybe they might help you.
Hmm.
And in that way, you can take all of that and create content from it.
Well, I think in a certain respect, you're like me. If you do something for an hour, okay, got it. You know, you're smart enough to understand that. So when people go to you, they're gonna know that you're not the highest and expert at every little thing, but they don't need that. You just need to be two steps above them. Just like, look, this is the guidance to
Hmm.
get where you need to go.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people get frozen because they feel that they're not the smartest in every little category. They don't need to be. You know, they just
No.
yeah, they you need to be able to serve them, provide value, and allow them to get where they need to go. The same thing on Mastermind, I simplified it. They said, what's it about? I said, it's about being functional in 30 days and profitable in 90. So they get an idea like, oh, okay, on LinkedIn, I need to make money, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So he's going to teach me what I'm doing in 30 days. And so by simplifying that, it really helps.
It does. A story that I share with many is that when I started going live, it was all about building a community and bringing other entrepreneurs together so we could learn from their stories, giving them a spotlight and giving them a voice to be heard. And little did I know that eventually others wanted to hear my voice, but I didn't see my value and I didn't see how my voice can make an impact. And it was through sharing my tears, my struggles, that others started to connect with that story, because it is a struggle being an entrepreneur, especially if you don't even know what value and voice you have. And
Well, or
that's why that's
too
why
many
that
voices.
connection is there.
Yeah, you have too many voices, but I guess that's for the crazy people, right?
No, I'm not too many voices, but what I'm trying to say is that we are humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I have a daughter.
Well, you can't wear but so many hats. You
Yeah, I
can't
can
be.
wear so many hats,
It
but I
gets
can be
confusing.
me.
It's true. You gotta like. I had to go through, and I have assistants like you, and they help with the content. And sometimes I gotta rewrite the whole thing or redesign the whole thing. And I'm pretty darn smart, but it's a lot. It's a lot of hats to wear, and then you're not gonna. Then it'll take the time away from your high level thinking, your business thinking. So you can only do certain things well all together, because if you do everything, if you tell people that you're good at everything, you look like a flea market. And no one wants a jack of all trades. Someone wants an expert in kind of this area, so they can go and get where they're going, get where they need to go.
And Chelsea, I see you.
Yeah, she's on it. She's a super fan there.
Yeah.
So you're talking about mindset right now, and the other thing is speaking to one person, and the different forms of video for marketing there.
Yes. Don't make it complicated.
I
Like,
don't
for
know.
example, I can talk to all of the parents out there. We sometimes have to put aside our business to be there for our children.
Yeah,
That's a true fact. I don't care what business you own. You have children, they're only that age for so long. So when my daughter left for college and I was crying every day and even on the lives, all of those parents came because they felt my pain.
yeah.
It's like you have a daughter and she wants to come in out of nowhere to be in your face.
Oh yeah, school's about to come out. She's gonna be busting in there. She does
What
not
are you gonna
care.
do?
She'll be
Or
like, "Hi."
hi. Or the best is like my mom. She happens to always walk in when I have a live. And now everybody loves my mom. So
Yeah,
that's just family. But we
yeah.
are humans. We are that. And we connect through that. Sometimes, Troy, it's because of that. They see, oh, you have a kid. I have a kid. You
Hmm.
understand my pain. Let's get on a call.
Yeah, because it's the know, like, and trust factor. They feel like, okay, she's a real person. She's a real person with real things, and they can relate to you.
Yes. Absolutely. And mindset plays a role. Like you'll have moments where you'll doubt if that video is worth sharing because you had a hard day or this is a lesson that you learned. It's those moments, those videos when you put it out that you actually get the most reactions because somebody's like, "Oh my god, you're speaking to me."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I try to post once a week if it happens that it's something I do that was kind of really awesome that I fixed something, or did I screw something up, and what did I learn from that? And they actually get really good engagement because it's true. You don't want to put anything false out there. What I don't like is when people are presenting something that has no base in reality. And you can kind of tell they're like, I don't know about this person. So I think it's okay to be quirky, but I think you at the same time you have to keep it in that honesty and know and sometimes there's certain things you don't want to post. But people want to connect with real people. So even to your profile, when you're doing your post, or if you have a profile, if you were in the United States Army, if you were in the military, put it in there on your profile. Because people like that. If you are a family person, well, don't you work with other family people that have families? If you're involved in whatever things that you're involved, there's groups for that. So it kind of makes sense to put it out there, just so people know that they're dealing with a real person and not a bot. Because I think there was a couple bot messages in there. People don't like bots. Every time I
No.
get a chat on a bot, I'm like, no, I want to talk to a person.
Hey, Gabe.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the slide that we keep trying. And it's when we're creating, this is all about creating a video. And we talked about this yesterday in day 2 of the challenge, where when you're writing your script, think about the person that you're speaking to. It's not talking to everybody. So this video may not be for all of the entrepreneurs. It might be for the moms who are entrepreneurs. And you're saying, as a mom, handling an empty nest and taking care of elderly parents is a lot. And when do you take time to have time for yourself? How are you filling your cup to be able to fill others? So that's a video that is not going to speak to everybody, but it's going to speak to the moms. And
Right. So you target the persona.
I
Um,
target the persona. So
mhm.
I'm just saying that was an example of a video. You might be, for Troy, it might be uh 10 or 5 things to keep in mind when posting.
Yeah. Well, so your post, speaking of posting, you're posting really well, but you have like these different forms of marketing, and we kind of touched base on it. But tell me a little bit about how you're using video across all these platforms. And then we'll just talk about, just so people get an understanding, that LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, email, and people think email is not a platform. Email is a huge platform. Never discount email. And then your DMs, newsletters, you name it.
So let's just keep it simple. You can draw people to a video that's posted on your platforms. So if you have an email or a podcast or even a newsletter, you can put the link and have them go directly to that post. But if you're posting a video that you created, you want to keep in mind the platforms. And this is the reason why. For LinkedIn, where you put the captions, it doesn't really, if you want to make it easy, make it bold and readable, like
Oh,
put
because the
it in the
video's
middle.
small. That's what you're saying. It's because it's on the scroll. It's very small on the computer.
Right. And so you want to make it where it's big enough so people can read it, but also in the middle of the screen. Now, here's the trick. If you keep it in the middle of the screen, then you can post it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, because on these other platforms, they have what are called the like, comment, share, and then your username.
Mhm.
So to just make it easier for you, put the comments in the middle, and then you can post it anywhere. And then how do you draw people to all these videos? You use the links. You draw people to that platform you want to grow. So if you're trying to grow your LinkedIn, every video you post should be every link should be coming from your post on LinkedIn, which will then get people who are not connected with you to start following you.
Mm. Um, Let me ask you a question. I know all about building on LinkedIn. So we have systems and strategies and all this other stuff for LinkedIn. I want to get into that. But to build, say, your TikTok or your Instagram, um, do you follow the same principles? Are there particular bits of software or systems or habits that you would use to build that, besides just, you know, the manual portion of always talking about that one platform or that one Facebook group or whatever you're trying to target? Do you have a specific strategy that allows you to get those numbers that you really want?
You just have to understand that when you're focusing on building a platform, focus on that platform alone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Point.
engage. build relationships just like you would do on LinkedIn. And now you're like, you know what? I've mastered LinkedIn. I understand it.
Mhm,
I've grown it to where I want it to be. I'm
mhm.
now able to go where are my clients at? Where is my audience? If it's
Mhm.
TikTok, go on TikTok. Understand what kind of videos really that work, because sometimes I don't post every video that's from TikTok to Instagram or LinkedIn. I actually
Oh
keep
yeah,
it.
of course. Yeah, because it's not appropriate sometimes because of the length or the format or the type of audience. It might
Well,
be.
also it's a testing ground for me. Let's just be real. Not every video I put is great, but I figured that because I'm trying to grow my TikTok, I'm just trying to understand the platform.
Yeah,
If a video fails and bombs, I don't really care because
yeah,
it's not where I get most of my leads. However, it does teach me what works, what doesn't, how to read the analytics, hey, what we do on LinkedIn when it comes to building relationships, commenting, it works.
yeah.
Every platform's like that. We all crave to connect.
Yeah, it does seem like it does seem like there's a lot of similarities in that where I'm like pushing all these buttons. I don't know what I'm doing.
I am a little bit more simpler. There are strategists who focus only on TikTok. There are strategists that only focus on Instagram, Facebook. I'm just more of the, if you want to be seen, you can do that by using video and live streaming. And if you want to go live on a platform, if you were to go live on LinkedIn, you have to use a third party platform. If you want to go live on Facebook, you can go live natively on the app. Same
Mhm.
thing with Instagram. If
Well,
you want to
Restream is awesome.
restream is awesome. And I'm
Yeah,
just
Restream will just hit a number. It doesn't work well with Instagram yet because they haven't released the connections directly to Instagram. But if you have a guest speaker, this is what we're doing right now. Sri and I don't know how many. I put in 3 channels. I'm assuming she put in 3. We're running on 6 channels right now on live, and it's almost guaranteed just on my live that I get 1,000 replays. It's almost guaranteed, and because we do our due diligence to let people know, you have like 100 people subscribed within a week, which is not bad, and we didn't do anything aggressive. I sent a couple messages out. I did one email push this morning. That's it. Well, I did invite like the people on the thing, but it wasn't a lot. And you're growing an audience in a very consistent manner. I always right now I have a 90-10 strategy. And so 90% of my stuff is like whatever my system is, LinkedIn, email, posting and all that other stuff, networking. But then I'm putting a little 10% effort into Instagram. I'm thinking about Twitter. Twitter seems to be blowing up. And I had a thought about it. And I said, all these people are on LinkedIn. They're all like saturated, not saturated, but they see it all the time. They don't see the value. I said, wouldn't it be more valuable to talk to someone on Twitter that needs to make money on LinkedIn because they're actually primed? So think about strategy with some of those things where you are developing a way is where are my avatars, the people who need what I have. And sometimes it's not that platform. I mean, it's on this platform as well, but there's a lot of opportunities on other platforms. I've heard a couple other business experts that get work off of what is that other, not Fiverr, but Upworks and stuff.
Upwork, and then there's
Yeah,
Bart.
and they get there's like 80,000, $100,000 jobs on there. It ends up
Yeah.
being. So you could pick up work for, certain, I don't know, I'll make it up, like do a profile. If you create a LinkedIn profile for them to start, it's X amount of dollars. Oh, I need help with a campaign. Okay, X amount of dollars. Oh, I don't want to run the campaign. I want you to run a campaign. Then you just entered into the white label monthly retainer service, and that could be a lot. So what is a white glove service for LinkedIn stuff? Well, they range 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 a month. So multiply that by 6, 12 months, or the length of the client, and then you could definitely make a lot of money. So there's
Are you
these.
on Upwork?
What now?
Are you on Upwork?
I'm not. I'm doing it now. I just heard my partner Catherine. She said you need to do that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. But
There's Upwork and there's this one website if you're in US or Canada, it's
uh-huh.
called Bark and it's leads within your area for
Bark.
whatever it is.
Can
Yeah,
you
like a dog, Bark.
bark.com?
Yes.
Wow, what a good domain. I'm a
And you pay for the leads. So you have to pay for the leads, but it's easier to get some leads. And of course there is Upwork and you can just create your profile. You
Mhm.
want to stand out, why people should hire you.
Of
And
course,
then
yeah, like
there's
anything else.
yeah, I mean there's all these platforms. And never forget meeting people in person. Like
Yeah.
networking events, conferences, the look, if you're even at the store, you can meet your next client.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I'm in Atlanta. I'm a little bit out, but I try to break away for at least a couple events a month. Just to involve myself with the community and stuff like that. And that's one thing I'm actually kind of weak at because I'm an online type person. But I try to do it because and there's math behind it too. Who's I gotta get a babysitter or nanny or something for that time and schedule it out. And, how much is parking and gas? Because you got to really think about it. You have to have a budget for some of the stuff here. So for me to go out to an event, it's costing me like $400 a pop. So I gotta like, do I just go to everybody's event and their mom? No, you
No.
gotta be very strategic about which ones you're going to and why and how to network. Another problem that I see is that a lot of people when they're actually networking, they're not there to provide value. I see that a lot on LinkedIn. And so they're trying to sell something. Of course, LinkedIn is a business place, but it's not a sales place. It's a networking platform. It's a true networking platform. What would you say about that, Sri? How should people manage their conversations on these other platforms?
So when you are talking to people, just get to know them. When you focus on the person and less about you and more about them, they are more intrigued to know about you. And it's real funny how we hear this a lot, but it really does work. I go to network events, in-person network events. I actually very nervous about them, but
Mhm.
I always just focus on the other person. My live skills come out where I interview them. Basically, I'm asking them about them. And next thing you know, they're like, who are you? What do you do? How can
Yeah,
I introduce you to somebody? It
yeah.
always turns out like that. And D, I love Alignable. I haven't been too active on it, but I do know it's a great place to start networking and getting some
So
really
Linable
good
is a
leads.
whole nother social network, right?
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
free and they have networking events and
Mm.
people can post in there.
Have you ever gone to a meetup group? Is that a thing still?
I have gone to LinkedIn networking, like within Houston, there's a LinkedIn networking and
Mhm.
they meet once a month, but this
Oh,
month
okay.
they're not. I've also looking at, so I want to get better in my storytelling. And so Ash Ransted, I can't say his name. I know his first name is Ash, but he put a book and it's by a group of people called Moth and they're storytellers. They
Mhm,
actually have a chapter here in Houston. So I'm interested to go to their monthly meetings. Again, you
mhm.
got to do what's in your budget, what's in your
Yeah,
time.
what kind of makes sense to get where you're going to go? Emo is disagreeing with us. She's saying to stay on LinkedIn because other places charge you fees and stuff.
Well, the
Number
reason
one,
is
pay to play.
got to pay
Okay,
to play.
pay to play. So if you want everything free, then you must have a free business. You got to go in there and pay. All right. So
It's
if
all about pay to play. And
I had someone says, Troy, that you should do all your business for free, all your courses for free. I said, I know. I should tell the people on my mortgage, I'm a good guy. You should just give my mortgage for free. And so that's one thing I would say. The other thing is that yes, there is a marketplace here on LinkedIn. However, on other platforms, they have a very clear issue, and they haven't been bombarded with a lot of things that they haven't been exposed to certain things or haven't things that haven't worked or have worked. And so those are a newer audience. So sometimes it's refreshing to be on a different platform. And so it says, oh yeah, I do need a LinkedIn profile. Oh, they do it. And they don't have, and you have very little competition because these other platforms talk about all this other stuff. And I found exactly what I wanted right here. Maybe I'll just go to Upworks or whatever and have this person fix my little immediate issue. And other platforms are great for small things. So, how do you build a client? Well, you want to build a client by working that relationship. And if they want to put some money into it, maybe they don't want to give you $20,000 or $100,000 up front, but they might give you $500 to fix a small problem. And to them, that $500 is not a lot, but it's a test. So these small increment acts of service, I won't say acts of service, small increment services build to larger services over time.
That, and also one thing you got to keep in mind is that LinkedIn is a huge platform, but it's also hard to find somebody. Versus if you go to Fiverr or Upwork, you can just say, you know what, I'm looking for someone who can help me with video production and I want to have a podcast. So they'll just find it. Because on LinkedIn, even though we can make it easy for them, I know there's a lot of people who don't know who I am, but I put myself
It took
on.
me 2 years to figure out who you were.
Yeah, and so
Like,
I
what
go
you
to Upwork, they might find me faster, or Bark, they'll find me faster.
Yeah,
So
it's a
this is
different
why.
relationship process, and nothing wrong with LinkedIn. I mean, that's where I get the vast majority of my business. But what I'm saying is, it's not the only place.
Right. You
It's
want
not
to
the only place.
diversify.
Be aware of your opportunities. So I'm not on Upwork, but I will be. I don't know when. I have to get through this hump first. So I'm ramping up for this mastermind I'm putting together. So I don't want to be distracted. So like you said, we can't concentrate on a whole bunch of stuff at one time. Go ahead and make our goals, and then move on to other areas that will generate business.
Yes. And just going back to this statement, yes, we do get business from LinkedIn, but we need to be diversified, because if LinkedIn were to go away, or Facebook or Instagram, what are you doing to get business to you? And
That's a
so
great point. They control the platform.
they control it, they can ban
They
you,
don't care who you are. They
they
don't
can
care.
ban you one day because somebody complained about you,
Yeah.
or realize
Oh, I
this.
have a horror story. A good friend of mine, another LinkedIn expert, um, last name Mendoza. Um, he's got an audience 4 times. I have a large audience. He's a audience larger than mine, and he was telling me that, oh yeah, someone hacked into his Facebook and they banned him,
Mm-hmm.
and he was getting all this business, and there's nothing he can do about it. I was actually traveling last year. They took my profile down and off because they thought someone hacked in. And I said, no, that was me. I was traveling. Well, someone was over. I said, no, I was there. I was at that location. That's me. Like, well, we don't know if it's you. I said, you do know it's me because I'm telling you it's me, right? So I had to send an ID, and my account was down for 4 days. You know how many phone calls, how many clients I have and phone calls I got? And they were afraid of their business. So they have total control over these platforms. Even if you play by the rules, you should not put all your eggs in one basket.
No, just be aware. There's nothing wrong. Many of these individuals who say they have a six-figure business, many of them are getting it from outside sources, meaning they are putting themselves on Fiverr, on Upwork. They are going out there, going to networking events. This is things that they are not saying, but they are doing. How do I know? I've interviewed them. I've asked
Mm.
them. And advertising on YouTube, I won't answer that, but I will tell you this. YouTube really does do a great job of taking your advertisement and then putting it in front of the people who are watching that type of
No, their
content.
algorithm's pretty tight, I hear.
Yeah, their algorithm is like super, super tight. So that's why I would say if you are going to do it, then just know that piece about So if somebody, I'm just going to make an example. If you wanted to learn how to build a home and you are somebody who's a coach to people who build homes, then your advertisement is going to go to those people who watch videos about building a home, improving their home, and so forth.
Well, let's get a good perspective though. But if you got like a $500 budget, no, you have to put budget on a regular point before you get your money back. Another thing too is they have LinkedIn advertising, and generally it doesn't do well, but it does well in conjunction with other paid advertising. So there's strategy behind that. Another thing too is someone asked if LinkedIn Premium was worth it. Well, it depends on which premium. I think they're all worth it. You can get the regular premium, you get Sales Navigators, two versions of that. You can get recruiter, and then they have the one with just the courses that come with it. And so LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I will tell you right now, if you're doing business on LinkedIn, if you're really doing business, yeah, you need it. You need it. You can't get around it. This what $90, $100 a month. But the question I always ask my clients or potential clients when they have any issue with how much something costs, I ask them, how much is one client worth?
Mm-hmm.
That answers everything. If they say, oh, client's worth $100, get on a different platform and get a job. That's what I have to tell them, or this is not the platform for you, So the average high value service is about 1,000 a month and up. So an IT company could be 50K. A coach could be a minimum of 1,000. Of course, they have smaller services, but if you add them all up together, like if they have a master, like some masterminds are less than 1,000, but in general, that's kind of the going rate. So think about that. If I could get one customer a month, and one customer was worth say 15, let's say 1,000, the low end, $1,000, right? And that means in 12 months, I would be making 12 grand a month because everything is compound. And you got to think about that compound and how to manage that type of client. So yeah, Sales Navigator is a must. If you don't know how to use it, well, pick up my mastermind and we teach people on that. Alignable does not allow sales pitches. Oh, good for them. It's good.
No, they want you to connect. They want you to build a relationship.
Yeah. What was the Chelsea is on fire? Wow.
Yeah, she said she
Go
had.
ahead.
Oh no, she was just talking about she wanted to get verified, and you have to use Clear, but there was a glitch, so she has to wait an additional 30 days
To be verified with what?
to be verified. You know that LinkedIn you can be verified.
Yeah, that's brand new. What's that about?
So that's so that no one can make a fake account because a lot of people have fake accounts.
Yeah, I think people get scared because they don't know if I went through it. I actually stopped doing the verification process because I said, well, LinkedIn and Clear are two different companies. Are they signing me up for a service?
Right. Clear is a service.
There you go. Something's kind of, I don't know about that. And is there a cost to the service?
Yeah. So it's like 100 and something. It's like that whole, and I'm just running
There's
blank.
another version of a blue check.
Well, Clear is actually used for when you travel.
Okay. Well, no. Well, I meant in the sense of a blue check
I'm gonna
for
look it up.
Clear is an $8 a month thing. So
No.
it's equivalent to, in order for you to be verified to make sure you're really you, they want you to pay some money.
Right. And Clear is instead of using it uses biometrics. So it's basically so that you can use it to travel, but it also helps you verify with LinkedIn. And yes, there is a cost. I think it's like over 100 something a year. So
I'll wait till it's mandatory. I don't know. What if you have a VA log into your account?
then you have a VA that's logged into your account. I mean, I have clients that I log in
No,
for
I
as
was talking about the
well.
Clear stuff. Yeah, so many questions on that.
It's a way to avoid having people steal your account. And if it's happened to you, you don't want to have it happen again. You'll pay for this.
Yeah, I haven't had anyone steal my account. Although LinkedIn thought they did, but no, they did not. It was me. I was logging in. It was actually me. Someone made a fake account of me, and so I felt like I should have it. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's a good point.
I had an IT company previously, and and it was pretty. It got all these awards, and the gamification was a really fun environment. And there was this one guy that pretended he was me. He had the same haircut. I'm like, this fool here, and it was a Doppler twin of me for my gaming stuff. So he was trying to take over my identity, and I saw pictures of him and everything. It was really weird. So,
There's always somebody trying to take your stuff. The best are your kids who pretend to sign those permission forms and get out your
well, we're at top of the hour. I do appreciate it. Any last words of wisdom?
I will share. Gabe had asked, and he said, he's afraid of getting on camera and he doesn't know where to begin. And I would say, come and join my free 5-day challenge where we really do dive into the reasons why you're not showing up on camera. Even though today is day 3, you still have access to get the replays. Plus, tomorrow I'm going to be showing you how to edit videos on your phone. You can also join my free Facebook community where you do have a community filled with others who want to see you succeed, to get on camera, to go live. Florence is somebody who is part of the community. So come and join. And if you just want to get one-on-one coaching, or you're like, you know what, I want to join a group coaching. If you have something in the future, reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Sri.
Thank
And for
you.
anyone that needs to make money and build relationships on LinkedIn, well, book some time with me. Always open for a conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.